Hey, good evening, Mr. B. It's Jim Colhoun from North Lake Tahoe. It's Friday evening, and unfortunately, I've had COVID for 2 days. And here's my test. I just tested positive again. I'm not going to be, I know I look terrible. I don't sound very good, but I'm going to try and push through this. But I don't have a witness because I live alone, and I can't get anybody to come over here with this, nor would I ask them to. But if you don't mind, I'm going to plunge ahead and talk about just some entertaining and some funny things that I came up with. When I think back over my real estate career, a lot of funny stuff has happened with clients, and inadvertently, I'm not a comedian, which is obvious, but so I thought back about some of the incidents that have happened with, being in thousands of homes with hundreds of different people over the years. I remember back to one time I was showing a very nice house to a very elegant lady. She was wearing a suit, carrying a nice bag. And we went through the house, and we went to the bathroom, and she was sort of looking around, and she said, "Well, this won't do." And I said, "What's the problem?" She said, "Well, the toilet's right in front of the shower, and my husband would sit there, and I wouldn't be able to wash my butt in front of him." I just met the lady. I was kind of floored. I'm kind of a shy guy, as you can tell. But I thought I got a kick out of that. I'll never forget the elegant lady whose husband liked to wash her butt. Some of these things might sound a little salacious, I guess, because that's the sort of stuff that I remember over the years. So another time we were showing a house. I was showing a house to a young lady. I guess she was 30 years old or so. And we got out in the backyard, and the door locked, and the gate was locked. There was no way out of the backyard. The lock was on the other side. Somebody was going to have to go over the fence. And she looked at me, she said, "I'll do it." And she said, "But I'm not going to lose these pantyhose." She took off her pantyhose, hopped up over the fence, and away she went and came around and let me in. That was quite memorable. Another one I remember is sort of like for a bad way, is that I had this couple from a different country, and they had their child with there, and the child was just crabby from the get-go. And so we put the car seat in the back of my car, and as I'm driving around, this little kid, who I call the screaming baby, would start kicking the back of my seat, and the parents were just oblivious to it. They would just keep talking amongst themselves in their own language, and the baby's just kicking the back of my seat. And later when I got back, they never did buy a house for me. So later when I got back, I found out that the baby was like 2 years old, had gravel in his shoes, and the baby had been scratching the back of my beautiful leather seat the whole time that I was driving. Again, not very funny, but I guess it was kind of a heck of a story. I like to share that with other agents about the hazards of showing homes with small children. Another sort of salacious thing that happened is that I was showing a condominium in Moraga, which is near St. Mary's College. I showed up, it was around 9:30 in the morning. I thought I had an appointment to show it. A gal opened the door wearing a towel. So she just had a towel on. She said, "Sorry, she just got out of the shower." And I said, "Well, I was here to see the condo." She said, "Well, come on in, I'll show you around." She proceeded to show me around this 2-bedroom condo wearing just the towel. She didn't have a problem with it. And again, I was as embarrassed as all get out, but I went through with it, and it was a great story to tell back at the office. I guess I'll just finish with a story about my best friends bought a home from me. And on the day before close of escrow, we went over to check it out. And it turns out a skunk had been underneath the house, and the whole house stunk of skunk. We didn't know what else to do. I called a company to come in and try and do a cleaning. My friend Larry, who I've known since the second grade, kept threatening to pull out of the deal. And his wife said, "No, we're not doing that." And they went ahead and closed escrow. the smell finally went away. Fortunately, our friendship didn't. In fact, I was at their house earlier this week, and I had to inform them the next day that I tested positive for COVID after spending the night at their house. So, a lot of things happen when you're in the workplace. Those are a couple of events that happened to me in my real estate career. And again, I apologize for the way I look and sound, but man, this is the second time I've had COVID, and I hope it's the last time. That's it, Mr. B. I'll go ahead and submit this. If you want me to do it again and try and find an audience, I could do it, but I don't know that it'll get much better. Okay, bye-bye.